So I think we are live. Hi guys, welcome back everyone. I hope I'm audible and I hope my screen is also visible. So yeah guys, hi everyone. Good evening all. How are you guys? Are you ready? Are you pumped up for today? We'll be continuing with whatever we left out with. Right. We created a project in React and we talked about what are exactly the different files present inside it. We started with it, right? We talked about npm, which is node package manager. We also talked about what all different files are related to the package management, how you can add new packages and all the stuff related to it, right? So now we'll be proceeding with that. Guys, can you just let me know if my screen is visible and if I am audible as well? Then only we can proceed. I'll need a yes or no at certain points in between. So do let me know if it is visible and if I'm audible. Then we'll proceed. Okay then, great. So guys, let's wait for 2 more minutes. Let's wait for max 2 more minutes and then we'll start with the class, guys. Yeah, yep. So let's start with it, guys. I think we are good to go. So guys, yesterday we talked about something known as NPM, right? So when we were talking about this file structure, we talked about basically three files. We talked about three files and those were not even this. Let's take a vibrant color. Yeah. So we talked about something known as node modules. We also talked about something known as package.json and we also talked about package log.json, what they does, and we talked about npm and they are all related to npm, right? We talked about it. Now guys, I also told you that there are a hell lot of different packages which you can use in your project to make your life easy or to make your project easily. But I didn't give you any examples. I didn't tell you the marketplace where you can find all these different packages. So how exactly is a developer supposed to get all these packages? Right? No one, or where exactly you can know about it? Where exactly you can find your suitable package which you want to use in your project? Where can you find it? So let's talk about it, guys. You have a proper marketplace, guys. So there is a marketplace provided by npm where you can find any package with respect to your requirement. Let's look into it. So you can search for something known as npm. You can search for npm online and you would find, you can see the first, you can find something known as npmjs.com. Now this is the official site, guys. Okay, let me just open it somewhere else so that I can look into the chat as well. So yeah, I can open it here. That will be much better. So I can go for npm. I can search for it on Google and you can see I get npm at the top. Now I can click on it and it will open npmjs.com. Now guys, what is this? This is the official website of npm node package manager. You can read about certain different things. You can know about it. But what we actually want to basically talk about is this search bar at the top where you can search for different packages. So basically this is a search engine for finding all the different packages you can use in your Node.js based projects. That is what it means. Now I can search for the packages which we are using in our project. Right. So if you remember in our project, we are using, right, we are using what? We are using React. So if we go to package.json, we already looked into it and we know, just give me a sec guys, I'll make it more visible to you. Yep. You can see that we know we are using package React, React DOM and React script. So I can even find these packages at this marketplace. So what I can do, I can search for React and I can hit enter. And you can see there are a hell lot of packages, 1 2 3 4. There are a lot of, you can see, pages inside it. So yes, you can see this is the first React exact match. So this is the first package which we are talking about. This is the official React package which we use in our you can say React project. Now guys, there are a lot of details you can find about it. You can see a little bit description about what it is. It is a React JavaScript library for creating user interfaces. A little bit details about it, a GitHub link for it, right? And React official website homepage for it. And you can also look into the popularity, guys. So how many people actually use it on daily basis? You can also get about it. And it is very popular, guys. You can see it has this much weekly number of downloads, guys. You can see, yeah, these many people downloaded weekly. It is licensed by MIT. This is the 18th version. The size of the package is so and so. The issues which are reported by the different users, right? All the things can be, you can say, checked here. And you can also look into how exactly you can install this package into your project. Now we don't need to install it explicitly. Why? Because whenever we create a project with the npx command, we already get this package. But what if we want to add a new package into our existing project? We can do it with the help of this command, which is npm install, which is short form I, and then you can write the name of the package, which is here React. So I can install React package like this. If I want to install React DOM, I can search for React DOM and I would find the first package, and this is the official package of React DOM. Let's wait for it to load, guys. Yeah, guys. So this is the React DOM package, official React DOM package. You can see how many people use it on weekly basis and every detail about it. You can see it is fairly big in amount. It is 4.38 MBs in size. So yes, it is a quite big package. But yes, you can install it like this. Again, the same command npm install, but it exits, you can say, only the package name changing, React DOM. Now, what if I have to use Bootstrap inside React? Can I use that? I can use that. I can write Bootstrap. And you can see at the top I get Bootstrap. That's it, guys. So if I want to use Bootstrap inside, you can see React, which uses npm as a package manager, I can even use Bootstrap. How can I do it? I can search for it here and I can scroll at the bottom. I can look into all the different things it has to offer. Everything I can figure out here. And at the bottom, I can get the installation, right? npm install Bootstrap. How many people use it on weekly basis? Which is the version of it and the size of it. So you can see it is also quite heavy, 8.6 MBs. Guys, can people let me know if you are also, all of you are facing the same problem of visibility, or is the video quality good enough for you to understand it? Yeah, guys. Is everyone facing the same, you can say, issue? Then I'll get into it and look into it. Yeah, guys. I need a yes or no if you are facing, you can say, issues in the video quality. Then we'll proceed. Guys, please check the video quality. Okay. I think there might be a little bit issue in the video quality because the streams are, you can say, real time. So there might be some people who might not be able to see it exactly, right? There might be a little bit of blurriness, but you will have to manage for some time, guys. And if you still have a problem, I would prefer that you just go back a little. Okay. Just don't watch exactly in the live stream. That will be a little bit better. But yeah, for most of the people, it should be visible. It should be, you can say, you should be able to access it on 760 pixels. I don't think there should be a problem in that. And yeah, guys, let's continue now. Now, guys, so we talked about these all things. I also told you about the marketplace where you can visit and install new packages according to your needs, right? So this is where you can use npmjs.com, the official, you can see, website where you can install the new packages. Now, guys, let's proceed and let's talk about all the other things. So there are still some files left which we have not talked about. So let's proceed with them, right? So let me just first do one thing, which is remove all the unnecessary ones. So this is what I created for my own use. So I would just remove it. We don't need to talk about it. Neither do we need to talk about the media file. It is something I created for my own, and nor the component it was also created by myself, right? Now, guys, we have already talked about some of them, so I'll mark them, right? We have talked about what? We have talked about node modules, we have talked about package dash log, we have talked about package.json. Now guys, readme file is a very common file. It is nothing but you can say similar to text file, guys. So it is just a text file where you can write some details about the project, details about the React project. Okay, so it contains details in textual format, guys. No coding involved in it. It is just a plain text based file where you can write additional details about your project. That's it. So I don't think we need to explain it more than what exactly readme is. So it has an extension of readme.md, guys. So md basically means that this is a file which is compatible for basically GitHub. So GitHub uses something known as .md based files, which are readable files. And whenever you create a repository in GitHub and you use, or basically if your project contains a readme.md file, that will be shown into your GitHub project as a descriptive format. So you can see it. That is why it is really helpful to have a readme.md. But yes, it is just a simple reading file. Okay, readable file, that's it. So I don't think we need to talk about it. Now let's proceed. Now guys, what is gitignore? Let's also talk about it. Fairly short and quick, we can talk about it. So yeah, guys. Now guys, if you really see into this project, I'll tell you something. Now this node modules which you are seeing at the top, which we talked about, as I told you, it contains a lot of files. It contains thousands of files, okay, which can reach to 10,000 also. And guys, these files have a fairly big size. I just showed you the size of Bootstrap, which was around, you can say, I guess 18 MBs or something. And I showed you the size of the package, which was React DOM, which was around 6 MBs or something. So you can see the size is fairly increasing with each and every package you include in your project. So yeah, the size increases. And if you have 10,000 different packages, then definitely the size will be large. And that's a problem, guys. Because yes, you definitely need all these packages to run your project. But do you really need them while storing your project? Nope, you really don't. Right? Understand the concept. You run, or you need node modules to run your project because these are necessary packages which your application requires to run. But while you're storing it, I'm not running the project, right? I'm just storing it somewhere for the safety reasons or to store it somewhere. I'm not running it. So do I really require all these packages? Nope, guys. I don't. I don't require these packages. I really don't require this file which can exceed to 100 MBs in size. I don't really require to store it. Why am I saying I don't require it? Because it is regeneratable, guys. I have all the details required to regenerate this file. Node modules is a regeneratable file. Why? Because in my node modules and basically in my package.json and package-log.json, I contain all the details I require to generate this node modules. Do you agree, guys? I think you would agree, right? In my package.json, I contain all the details about all the packages I need to install. All the secondary packages I need to install are also present with me. So do I really require node modules at all the time if I'm storing it? Nope. So I can basically remove this, you can say, folder, or remove this big sized folder from here whenever I'm storing it. It would be required for running the project, but not necessary while storing it. So yes, I can delete it. So that is why there are some files which are really not required at the time of storage. Or maybe there are some files because of security reason, you don't want to include them while storage. So for these cases, you use .gitignore. So basically, it ignores files. Ignores files while uploading on GitHub. Yeah, so what does it do? It basically ignores the files while uploading on GitHub. Which files? Which you don't want to upload on GitHub. So basically in this file, I can specify that I don't want the node underscore modules. which means that whenever you upload this to GitHub, I don't want this file to be uploaded. It is a heavy file. I don't want to store it. Similarly, if you have a file which contains very sensitive information, which you don't want to be accessible to anyone else, even people who are working in your, you can say, company or on the same project, you don't want them to access this data, you can store it inside, or you can reference it inside .gitignore. You can say that please don't upload so and so file in GitHub, so that it is safe guarded. It is only present with you and not uploaded to something like GitHub, which is mostly public to, you can say, the collaborators which you're working with, to the people who we are friends with, or to the community if your, you can say, GitHub repository is public, right? Am I clear what gitignore is used for? Then I'll proceed. Yeah guys, I need a yes or no, then we'll proceed further. Okay guys, great. Now let's proceed. So we have talked about gitignore, what it is used for. Now let's proceed with these files guys, because these are important. Now we are inside something known as the source folder. This is very important, the source folder. But before talking about the source folder, let's first emphasize on, or let's first talk about the public folder, because this is important. So guys, public folder is nothing but basically public folder is something which tells you that whatever you put inside it is open for anyone on the website or on this React application to view. So everything you want to be public needs to be placed in this public folder, right? If you want a media file, any media file you want inside a project to be public is placed inside it. Let's say if you want an image or multiple images to be shown on your website, you keep it inside the public folder. Let's say you want a video to be present inside your website, you can keep it inside the public folder. If you want MP3, MP4, whatsoever you want, you can keep it inside the public folder if it is accessible or if needs to be accessible by the public. And if you really think about it, you'll actually know that I need one more important thing which needs to be public to all the people, and that is my index.html file, my main page of the website, right guys? Everyone needs to be able to access it. So therefore, that also needs to be stored inside my public folder. So even the only page which I have throughout my React project, so I said I only have a single HTML file throughout my React project, which is present inside the public folder. So even my index.html, my only HTML file inside my whole React project is present inside index.html. And that's it guys. That is what public folder contains. Everything which you need to be public is stored inside public folder. And eventually, if you want someone to be able to access your website, you want him to be able to access index.html. And therefore, it also needs to be inside the public folder. Yeah guys, so that is what public folder is used for. Now we'll get into the detail how exactly these things work. But yes, this is what public folder is used for. Now let's proceed. I think it was clear that what public folder is used for. Now let's proceed with the next one. Now guys, now let's talk about these files. Now, I don't think I need to explain what app.js or CSS or index.css is. These are basic CSS files, no change. CSS files remain the same. So if you want to create a CSS file in React project, they are not different. They remain the same. They are exactly the same. So yeah, these are CSS files which contain some styles. That's it. Now let's proceed and talk about the main important files which we can see at the bottom. So we have talked about these two, and these are default files guys. Whenever you create a new project, you will have app.css, index.css. If you want, you can delete them, but by default, they are included. Now after that, what do you see? We see two files. One of them is index.css and one of them is app.js. Now you need to remember, index.js is the main starting point of our JavaScript. So it is main starting point of JavaScript. So basically, till now, when we were talking about public folder, I told you it contains index.html. But till now, I didn't have any connection to any JavaScript inside my, you can see, website. Because people were only able to see the HTML. But now, when I link it with something known as Index.js, so when I link my Index.html file with Index.js, now this is my first JavaScript file attached to my Index.html page or my Index.html. And therefore, this is my starting point or main starting point of JavaScript. Okay. So that is our first JavaScript file, or it is also known as the root file. Okay. So remember it. The first JavaScript file in our project, which is always index.js, is also known as root file or root JavaScript file. It contains some code. We will be talking about that, but this is the root file. Now, what is then app.js, guys? This is our first component, guys. App.js is nothing but the first component. So basically, whenever you create a project in React, it always contains a default component, which is app.js. Now you might have a question that, sir, you told us that the component should have an extension of .jsx, but this component has an extension of .js. What is the matter here? So guys, if you really think about it, then you will get to know that JSX means JavaScript XML. That is actually a, you can say, higher version of JavaScript. So it is nothing but basically a higher version of JavaScript. So if you name or if you create a component with a extension of JSX or JS, it does not matter. Does not matter. Because eventually when you create a component with JSX, it will be in turn converted into JavaScript. Because it is a higher version of JavaScript. So when it is being read, it will be converted to JavaScript. So therefore, does not matter if you end a component with .jsx or .js. Although I would prefer to use .jsx because it helps you in some way. But yes, even if you use .js extension for your component, no problem. It will work exactly the same way. So guys, yes. Are you clear now? What are these two files and what they do? So basically we did not talk about what they do, but yes, are you clear about which of them is a root file and which of them is our first component? Yes, guys. Okay then. Now let's proceed, guys, then. So guys, we have talked about everything. Finally, we are complete with the folder structure. Now we know what each and every file means and what it does. Okay, we know everything about a React project and the starter files which we get. Now we can be a little bit comfortable and we can say that yes, we are good to proceed with practical knowledge and practical stuff. But before that, again, we would require to understand the concept of how these files actually work. So let's talk about it, guys. How exactly these files work. So let's not talk about it here. Let's directly jump into our VS Code which we created. So in our project, you can see if I open the public folder, what do you see? In my public folder, I have my index.html file, which I said is the main starting point, my only HTML file in my project. Now let me just remove the unnecessary comments here. These are nothing but comments. I can remove them, right? So I'll remove them so that my file looks a little bit cleaner. Now, yes, this is my final output. This is my HTML file and you can see it is very small. It is clean because you will never be tampering your index.html file. It will stay clean. So this is how it is. You can see this is the title of my you can say project or my website which I would be creating. You can definitely change it if you want to, but either than that, I don't think most of the things you would be changing. Now guys, if you see in this project, you would see that there is only one div you have. So in my body, I have something known as no script, which you don't need to worry about. It is just something which tells your browser that I can only work if my browser supports JavaScript. Okay. So guys, there are, you can say, some browsers, or there are some different, you can say, browsers or security reasons because of which browsers sometimes blocks JavaScript. Okay. So because of that, you can't actually run your React website, right? You can understand the logic. If I do not have JavaScript running on my browser, how can I exactly run React inside it? Because React is totally based on JavaScript. So basically it shows this error to the user that you need to enable JavaScript to run this application. That is it. That is what it tells you. No script. That is the tag, and inside it, it tells you that please enable JavaScript. If your browser does not support it, please use any other browser, because I won't be able to proceed and show you this website because it totally depends on JavaScript. Now, let's proceed about it. You can forget about it. It is nothing. We don't need to worry about it. This is the important point, guys. Now, guys, in your body, you will always have, in your basic HTML file, you will always have just this div, guys. In your HTML, you have nothing but a empty div, and it has an ID of root. Now, why is it made this way? Guys, basically, what React is trying to do is it has given this div a ID of root. Now, what you can do, I told you that you can connect Index.js with this HTML file. So basically, you can connect Index.js to this HTML file, and now you can target this div. How you can target this div? You can target this div with the help of ID. So something like document.getElement by ID, and I can specify root to get details about this div. Yes, I can do that. And then I can manipulate and do certain things inside this HTML. That is what the whole funda about React is. So React does not actually do anything inside your basic HTML file. It just needs a div with the ID of root. It will target this root element or this div, and then it will add the content inside it. Okay, so it will add the data inside this div. By default, it is empty. Okay, I think I am clear at this point. Now let's proceed. So this is how your basic index.html file looks. Nothing fancy. It is pretty simple. And I don't think there is anything to explain more than this. It's just that you need to remember you have a div with the ID of root. Root means it is the root starting point. Everything which you write, every navbar which you create, every component which you create, every page which you want to display on the screen would always exist in between these divs. So everything you want to display, every page, every website section you want to display inside React will always exist inside this root ID, guys. Remember that. It will always exist inside this div. That is what you need to remember. Now guys, let's proceed. We have talked about index.html, and I said it is connected to index.js. So let's go to index.js. Now guys, so index.js, we are in index.js. How does it look? Inside it, you can see you have this section, 13 lines of code, and that's it. That makes your project ready to use React. So what did it do? So guys, forget about these two things, right? Forget about these two things. The only main thing starts is here. Okay. Now the first line you can see here is nothing but it is saying that I want to import something known as app. So what is it doing? It is basically saying that I told you app.js is nothing but a component, right? App.js is a component. So I can import that component. I said it. So how do I import a component into another file? I can import it like this. I can write import, then I can write the name of the component, which is app. and then I can say from, where do I want to import it from? And then I can specify the direction. How do I specify the direction? It is relative, guys. That you can see the directions is relative to the file which you are trying to import it in. So I am trying to import my app.js component in index.jsx file, right? Index.js file. So where exactly is my app.js, you can see, component present? It is just present next to me, right? It is just present next to me. So therefore, how can I import it? I can say // and then app. I don't need to write extension. Okay, I don't need to specify .js. Okay, I don't need to do it, or .jsx. No need. It will automatically get to know that it is a component. You just need to specify the name of the component or the file name, not the extension. So it is basically importing a app component. That is what it says. After that, what it does? Pretty simple thing. Basic JavaScript. It says that get into the HTML document, get me the element ID, or get me an element which has an ID of root. So what it is doing, it is going into index.html, getting you the div with the ID of root, and storing the details about it in this variable, which is root element. So in this root element, what do you store? The details about that div which contain the ID of root. Now to that, what are you doing? Now to that, you are using something known as React DOM. So basically you are using two things. React DOM. What does React DOM do? Basically it helps you in creating a virtual DOM. So to start working with React, you need to initialize or create a virtual DOM. And to set up a virtual DOM, you just need to write this line of code. You say constant root is equals to create, and then you specify the element in which you want to create the virtual DOM. So I want to create the virtual DOM for this div, which I have reference to. So you say create root. Where do you get this create root from? You get this create root from this particular package. So you get into React DOM, and inside it you have something known as a client folder. So from there you are getting something known as create root functionality, and you are using it so that you can create a virtual DOM. Now after that, what you can do now with this root reference, you can display a component inside it. Let me just you can say solve an issue for you. So let me just remove something which is not required. Strict mode. Okay, strict mode can be removed. So if you remove it, not a problem. I'll just remove it so that the code is a little bit more simple. Yeah guys, now it is more simple. So you just imported a package known as React DOM, and from it you imported create root. So it is a functionality provided by React DOM, and inside it in the client folder you have a create root functionality. You are importing it, you are creating a virtual DOM, and you are specifying that I want to create this virtual DOM for the root div inside my index.html. Now after that, inside that index.html, right, inside this index.html, wherever I have this div, I want to display a component inside it. Basically I want to display something inside it. What do I want to display? I want to display this component. That's it guys. So you imported this app component, right? You remember you imported this app component. So you're saying that create a virtual DOM for that root div, and inside that root div render means nothing but basically means load. So basically load inside it what? Load inside it my app component. So if you want to use a component, you write something like this. So something like a HTML tag. So if you have an app component imported, you can use it like this. You can write what? If you want to use an app component, you can say app like a tag. Either you can create it like this, opening closing tag, right? Either you can use this would also work, or as I know that I am not writing any data inside it, you can even create a self closing tag guys, like this. Both of them work. So what am I saying? Let me just repeat it again. I am importing a component, then I'm saying the target and get the details about this root div inside my index.html. Now inside that root div, initialize React DOM or my virtual DOM. After initializing that virtual DOM, with the help of that virtual DOM, now insert this app component inside my root div. So basically what it wants is to insert this component here like this. This is what it is saying. So after doing just this thing, after writing this line of code, the output would contain whatever you have written in this app component. Am I clear now how exactly index.js is working? It is quite simple, but yes, it might take some time for you to understand because it is something new. Yes guys, am I clear how index.js works and how it adds content into index.html with the help of React and JavaScript? Yes guys, am I clear? Yeah guys, if you have any doubt, if you want to repeat me anything, you can let me know, because yes, it is a little bit complex topic or a complex concept and you might get doubts. Okay, so if you want me to repeat anything, you can let me know. But yeah, I can see a lot of yeses, so I think it is quite clear. Okay, fine. So now guys, yeah, so what did I do? Whatever I did here, there is some another name for it as well. So actually whatever I did here is also known as injection or HTML injection. So what am I doing? I am trying to inject some HTML code inside my HTML, right? With the help of JavaScript. So this is also known as something known as JavaScript injection. Okay, so this is why it is known as JavaScript injection. So basically what you are doing, you are trying to inject some data with the help of JavaScript into your HTML. I think that should be clear, right? Now guys, yeah, okay, someone asked what is this strict mode? So guys, strict mode is basically whenever you create a project, guys, there are two modes available. There is a strict mode and there is a normal mode. So guys, basically strict mode says that use or create my project and only give me all the things or all the functionalities which are tested by the developers. So guys, the React developers keep on developing new functionalities and keep on testing them. Okay, they do it regular basis and they keep on adding them to the React. So if you are using a strict mode, you are basically saying that no, I don't want to use the, you can say, functionalities or added functionalities which are not yet completely tested. I'm saying I just want to use the core functionality which have been completely tested and are secured. So you are saying I'm in strict mode. I only want to use the strict basic functionalities, not the buggy functionalities which have not yet been tested. That is what it means. So if you remove it, it's nothing. It's just saying that I am out of the strict mode. I can use even the features which are still being tested. And you can know about these features on the main React website. That is it. Now guys, I think this should be clear how exactly JavaScript injection works. Now let's talk about the syntax, or let's talk about our first React component. Let's talk about the first React component, guys. Yeah, and it should be quite clear on how it works. Now let me just clear it a little, because this code is a little bit, you can say, confusing. So I'll do a little bit of changes and that should not give you any problem. Let's say export default app and let's make it a arrow function. Okay, let's keep it like this. That is fine. So now guys, this is your component, guys. This is how simple it is to create a React component. And if you really see, you'll figure out it is a mix of JavaScript and something like HTML. So what is it exactly? This is, guys, the syntax of JSX. This is known as JavaScript XML, guys. This is JSX syntax. Okay, so don't get confused. Even if you are seeing here something like HTML written, right? You are seeing div, you are seeing h1. But this is not, guys, HTML. This is JSX. So don't get confused. This is not HTML. You can see this is a JSX attribute. It seems to be like HTML. It works exactly like HTML, but that is the beauty of JSX. It is so flexible that it makes you feel like you're using HTML, but you're not. Remember, it is JavaScript XML. Now, how exactly your component works, guys? This is a function based component, guys. Okay. So basically, this function represents your component. And this line at the bottom represents its export statement. Yeah, guys, I'll tell you what export default means. But basically, this is only your component. Now, guys, if you remember it, Index.js, I imported this component. Now, guys, this import statement won't work until and unless I am exporting a component. So basically, import a component until and unless I am exporting it from my component where I created it. That is why I have written export statement, guys. So if I don't have this export statement here, I can't import this component here. That is what it means. So basically, for a component to be used in different files, you need to create, or you need to make it exportable. That is what this line defines. Okay. And then only you can import it like this. That is what it means. This line is what it means. So basically, you are creating a function and this function represents a component. Now, what you are doing at the top, guys, this is the basic syntax. So if you want your component to have a CSS file attached to it, right? So you can see this is basic HTML code. Similar to HTML code, you have a div. You can also have a class attached to it. So basically, it means you can design it or you can style it. So for styles or for applying styles, you need to attach a CSS file to it. So to a component, you can attach a CSS file. How do you attach a CSS file? Simple. You create a CSS file like it has style.css, right? You can see it contains, you can see it targets the class app.app and then it applies some styles to it. So how to use it? You just say import and you specify the name of the file which you want to import. So I want to import the CSS file and use it here. That's it. That is how you import a CSS file and use inside a component. Now, guys, what are you doing here? You are saying that I want to create a functional component. Okay. So I want to create a component and I want to name it as app. So guys, remember, this is, you can say, a best practice. So whenever you create a component, guys, right, whenever you create a component or a file for a component, you always name it with a capital letter. Okay, that is important. You cannot name it with a small letter. You need to name it with a capital letter, like app, A capital. If I want to create a home component, I will create, let's create it. If I want to create a home component, I would say home and I would say .js or .jsx. Both of them work. So this is what I need to do. I need to keep it capital. Now, after that, whenever I create a component inside it, so basically when I write the code to actually create a component inside that file, I need to remember that I need to keep it exactly the same, guys. So I named my component as app. So I need to create a component inside it as a name of app. That is what it means. So if you named it capital here, you need to name it capital here as well. So you created a function. You named as app. So basically you created a component, you named it app, you created a function out of it, and then you wrote the code for it. That is what it means. Now what you're doing, you're creating a component and you wrote some code inside it. Now this code, guys, has nothing but return statement, guys. So return is nothing, basically means that in a component, whatever HTML you want to display, it is always written inside return statement, guys. Remember that. It is always written inside return statement. So let me just clear it. Let's create something simple. You can say quite fairly simple. Let's create a div, right? And let's inside it create a h1 tag, and inside that h1 tag let's write first component. Save it, and that's it, guys. What you did, you updated your app component. So inside a component you can write HTML only inside a return statement. Remember that the HTML looking syntax which you are writing here to display on the screen, it can only be written inside a return statement. Remember that. And all the JavaScript related functionality, all the JavaScript code which you want to write, you can write it here in between the curly brackets and before the return statement. So if you want to create any constant, you can create here. If you want to create any variable, you can create here. If you want to even create any function, you can create here, guys. So all the, you can say, functionality or JavaScript can be written in between these lines here. And the final HTML output which you want to display in that particular component, you can write in the return statement. And this should be the last thing, guys. Return would always be at the last. You cannot write anything at the bottom. This will be ignored. Whatever you write at the bottom would be ignored. So remember that. Return is the last statement in your function. It is the basic logic of a function. Okay. Basically, it is the basic JavaScript functionality which you are using here. Nothing new. So guys, this is how exactly your component works. You have a function with the name exactly same as the component file name. You export it so that it is usable in other components or files. This is how you attach a CSS file to it. And in the return statement, you write the HTML code which you want to display. Now, if you want to check the output, we can. Let's check the output, guys. This is the output. You can see here at the right side. You can see I wrote I wrote a h1. Inside it, I wrote first component. So you can see in my whole page, I see only h1 heading 1 saying first component. I can change it here and you would also see the change exactly at the same point. Hello, this is my first component. You can see here exactly at the same point I'm getting the output. So this is the only h1. If you want, you can add more content. I can add a paragraph if I want. And let's say I add some lorem ipsum. So I can add data inside it and you can see it is being displayed. Right. This is how you create a component and you can show it on your screen. Now let me just go back in, zoom in so that, yes, it is clear. Now guys, am I clear how exactly a component works? Yes, guys. Guys, we'll stop here. We won't talk about anything new. We will stop here. We have talked about how a component works. We have also talked about how this whole thing or how this whole React application works. What is the flow? Initial starting point is index.html, which is connected to index.js, which is responsible for showing any component on the screen or inside index.html. That is how the functionality works. Now guys, is everything clear? Yes or no? Because we will be stopping here. We won't go or we won't proceed any further. We'll be creating new components. We'll start coding, guys. Yes, I know we talked about a lot of theory, but it is important to understand basic concepts in React. You just need to remember them or you just need to get over with them once. After that, everything should be fine. We will be doing a lot of coding, guys. We will talk about how to create multiple components, how to create multiple pages. We'll talk about all of it. But yes, I think this should be clear. So guys, that is it today. We will be stopping here. So thank you everyone and have a nice day. Okay, explain index.html. Sure guys, sure. So let me go back. And guys, index.html is pretty simple. It contains basic HTML, right? It contains a head tag and everything. And at the bottom, it just contains a div. So whatever data you want to show, guys, so whatever data you want to show with the help of React, right? We create multiple components, we show multiple data with the help of React. That all we will show in between these two lines. So basically all the data is displayed in this div. That is it. That is what you need to know. So all that data is displayed in this div. That is what the basic HTML contains. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing fancy inside HTML. This is it. This is what it contains. Yeah, guys. Sure, I forgot about that. So let me just give you the attendance link as well. Give me a sec, guys. This is day 3, right? So yeah, guys. So guys, I've pasted it in the chat box. I've pinned it at the top. So please fill it, or basically store it, save it somewhere, right? And fill it as soon as possible, because it will be deactivated after a certain amount of time. So yes, fill it. And I would be displaying it. I would be keeping it in the chat box for only 10 minutes, guys. Sorry, not 10 minutes, 10 seconds. My bad. After that, it will be deleted. So please fill it as soon as possible. I'll even display it on my screen. So if someone wants to take a screenshot, you can. Yeah, guys. This is this, you can see. This is also present on my screen. You have 10 seconds to note it down or fill it. After that, it will be closed. Fine, guys. If you're not clear with what component is exactly, don't worry. We will be creating new components or on our own tomorrow. So we will, or basically you will get clear on what exactly it does. Not a problem. Okay, guys, that's it. So I think everyone has noted, and I will unpin the message and delete it. So, okay, guys, that is it for today. If you like the content, if you're able to understand everything, guys, please leave a thumbs up in the chat box and also like and share the video, guys. That is it for today, guys. Thank you and have a nice day. We will talk about all the rest of it tomorrow. So guys, okay guys, so someone is asking what is app-test.js, guys. So whenever you create, guys, a React application or any application, you also include something known as testing, guys. Testing is nothing but just a way of assuring that whatever functionalities you have created or whatever things you have created in your website, they're working properly. Okay. That is something which is advanced level, guys. Okay. That is of no use. You don't need to worry about that at this point. It is something which developers do after experience of 2 to 3 years, when they are creating applications which are very heavy in terms of functionality, right? Where you have to create a payment gateway, where you have to create or work with a lot of data. Then you need to worry about testing. Testing is basically testing for bugs, testing for certain situations, scenarios. That is what you do in it. It is not required. So you can delete it. But I would say don't tamper it at this point, because if you delete it, it will be used somewhere else. So app-test.js might be used somewhere else. So it might break your application because you deleted it. So even look into where exactly it is being used and also delete the tracks of that. Yes, guys, you can use Sass inside React. Not a problem. You can use it. You can use Sass inside React. You can use, you can say Bootstrap inside React. You can use Material UI. There are a lot of CSS libraries. There are a lot of animation libraries. There are a lot of things you can do. 3D visualization, a lot of things. So yes, everything is possible. And yeah, guys, that is it for today. We will end our session here. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. We'll meet tomorrow and continue with the rest of it, guys. Till then, bye-bye and take care, guys.